Hello, and welcome back to My Artist Friend. I am your host, Becky Helms, and this podcast is all about the artist behind the art. I know the last few episodes have been solo episodes of me rambling about planning and journaling and all kinds of stuff, and I appreciate you listening to those. But today, I have an actual interview with my friend Taylor of Taylor Hart Crochet slash Nothing But a Pigeon. Taylor is an amazing crochet artist. We met in Austin, and she's just one of my favorite people on the planet. She's so fun. I love her style. Her work is gorgeous. And this conversation was so fun just to have and to revisit in the editing. Like, it's so funny when I edit the podcast because it's like I'm there with them again, and it's like I get to hang out with my friends again, which is really nice. But I've been having a really fun time editing this one. This one is a little more personal. So we do talk about business and creativity. She chats about how she got started in crochet. She has a crochet book that she came out with. So we talk about the process of that and kind of what the publishing world is like right now for crafty books. But we also talk a lot about, she's a mom too. Both of us became moms a little bit later in life, and we were not expecting to have children. So it's a unique experience, and I'm glad I could share it with her. And she's just the best. What else do we chat about? We chat about changing priorities. We talk about big moves because they also moved from Austin out a little bit further. They're still in Texas, but they made a big move out into the country with a little bit slower life. We talk about house projects. It's really nice to commiserate with someone who truly understands the struggle of living in an older house. We also do get pretty personal when talking about, I have a chronic illness that I talk about in a little bit more detail. She had a very surprise, severe illness that popped up, and then just kind of how that affected our lives, our creativity, our brains, our bodies as women in their 40s getting into the exciting perimenopause time of our life. And it's such a good conversation. It's such a good conversation. I'm so excited that she could take the time. It was so nice to chat with her. And I really hope you enjoy it. If you want to know about the artist behind the art, here you go. Hi, Taylor. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate you taking the time, especially since you have 2 kiddos. Look, I absolutely get it. I think you're actually the first other mom that I'm talking to. No, I talked to Laura Fisk, of Fisk and Fern, but it's just us 3 so far. And it's a totally different challenge. I was just trying to think how we met, because I just feel like I moved to Austin and I just knew you. Like, where?
It's wild because I don't even remember how we met, but I feel like I've always known you.
Yeah, right? I'm like,
I mean, it would have had to have been at a crafting show.
I had to.
Like, I know that we traveled together for one show,
Yes.
but
Oh my gosh.
by then, so I don't know.
Yeah, we drove up to Dallas and did a show up there. And that was before I had pins or anything. I was pregnant at the time, and I didn't tell anyone because it was like super, super early.
I think I knew you.
And did you know? You're like, girl, please.
No, the first one of the group that I think was like pregnant, and I was like, oh my gosh.
That was a wild trip.
That was just different, I think.
I think that also, I never really traveled for shows, like going overnight to places. I know a lot of people would do conventions, but anytime I did conventions, it was always like I would just drive there and back at night, like to my house. And then it was always very local. So that was like the first time I actually like went and stayed at a place.
Yeah.
And I think I decided it was not for me.
It's a commitment. Yeah, I'm with you on that. It was really hard because there's a lot of personalities, and
Yeah.
I guess I'm a very quiet person and I keep to myself. But yeah, it's hard when you're traveling with a bunch of people, especially
Yeah.
people, because there's a lot of eccentric personalities too, and
Yeah.
um,
Underlying
yeah,
stress of the event.
yeah. So it was an experience. I liked it, but now I'm glad it's over.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm happy that it happened. I learned a lot.
I really,
That was fun. Yeah, we were doing shows pretty regularly in Austin at that point. And I remember seeing you all around town, Toy Joy. You were
oh
always at Blue Genie.
yeah, that was fun. You too. I mean, every place that I was, you were too. You know.
I followed. I'm like, where are all the cool kids going? Where can I be?
I was doing. I was like, oh, you want me in a store? Okay.
That was awesome. And you were doing crochet work too. So it's not like you were getting something manufactured and sending it. Like you were making it all by hand.
It was really hard to keep up with the demand of things. All this, it's great to be in stores, but, I was having to constantly be crocheting, and it was just very hard on your hands too. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I wish, what I was doing, I could produce more of it, but it just,
There's a limit.
there was definitely a limit. So
Yeah.
sometimes being in a lot of stores is cool, but then it's not. You can't.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to kind of weigh, like when you really see what it's like and what is on the other side of things.
Right.
Like
Yeah. I love
it's,
Toy Joy. They've always been super loyal to me. I just love. I'm still got some stuff in there. I honestly don't know what it is. I get like little checks here and there from them every now and then. I'm like, oh, okay. So
yeah. That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's the store that I'm still in, but I'm not anywhere else really.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while because I feel like I'm kind of on the journey now that you did a few years ago when you guys moved from Austin out to Bastrop and you started kind of building your home and moving your family over there. What was that process like? Like the decision to do that it was scary for me when we
Yeah,
moved.
no, it was definitely scary. We didn't know what we were doing. It came to a point where we lived on the east side of Austin and we couldn't afford to live there anymore. And I was still trying to make that crafting dream come true. So, it wasn't sustainable for us at that time, and we decided to move further east. And it was honestly like the best decision we made,
Yeah.
but we didn't really know anybody out here. We moved to a farmhouse. We had like no internet. It was a place with bananas, like the guy that owned it. There was car parts everywhere,
Oh my
left car parts in the house. So like the floor was damaged. Like it was just weird. And then I found out I was 3 months pregnant
God. Oh my God.
during this whole thing. Like,
Surprise.
why did I feel good? But
Yeah.
I was told that I couldn't have kids naturally, so it was like this crazy shock. And we had to move out here and renovate this house, and then I was going to get in the craft scene out here, and then it was like,
Mm.
oh, I'm going to be a mom now, and so that became my priority. And the
Yeah.
house is still being renovated. Like I don't know what's happening, but it was just like you know everything changed like all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Baby, and then it's still weird, like deciding that you're not gonna go down that same path that you were gonna go down or originally planned.
Mm.
So I'm still dealing with that too. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, it's so strange because I go through this kind of ebb and flow of it where I'm like, I'm very grateful that I'm able to, just be stay-at-home mom and there's no just, but like, that I'm able to do that. And like Emmett is still like number one priority, school calls, I'm up there and I'm glad that I have a lot of flexibility and stuff. But then there are times when it's like, I've been doing laundry all week.
Yeah,
And this was not my life,
Yeah,
like, like 2 years ago. And it's like, wait a minute, what am I doing?
it's wild how things can change, you know. But I guess that's just life, and we pivot, and nothing's linear. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't know what our future holds, you know. I don't know if I'm going to go back into doing what I did. Like, it's just,
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm just kind of going with the flow right now because the kids are still kind of young. Um,
Yeah, they're still bitty. Arlo just turned 7 though.
oh, that's
This
crazy.
is
Yeah. I can't believe I have a
what the
7-year-old. Yeah.
7-year-old. I have a 9-year-old.
I know. That is crazy, girl. I look to you for like answers. I'm like, is this going to get easier or does it just turn into a different type of hard? Like,
It's a different type of hard. There is no easier.
I
I
figured.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing.
I
I
don't
just try
either.
to.
We're just all doing what we can, I feel like, you know?
Right. Yeah, truly, truly. It's a hard thing, even just, because even when I had my business, I was working, like I would drop him off at school and work and then be done by like 2 so I could go scoot and get in the car line. So even then, it's almost easier when they're little because you have daycare that's like a little bit longer
Yeah.
and you have a little bit more time. I love the idea, what you said though, that the journey isn't linear at all. Because I feel like I really need to remember that because a lot of it is trying to stay creative and, put something out and make something even for myself. But there are times when it's just not possible.
No, I feel you. Yeah, and I think we beat ourselves up too a lot because, as crafters and artists, we should be always making something, and then you feel like you're failing in that area if you're not constantly producing.
Yeah.
And, I guess it comes to a point too where it's like what's most important to you, and it's hard, I mean, I remember when I came to you for advice on like how to grow my Instagram and you were showing
Mm.
stuff and I was just like blown away and I'm like, "Oh my god, it's such a commitment." And then you like looked at me and you're like, "You just have to ask yourself if that's the way you want to live." And I was like, "That's so freaking true." Like, I mean, and to me, like for me myself, I can't be that type of person that's posting every day or that has a whole schedule of like here's photo day or here's that. And moving out here too kind of made it easier for me to decide that, living out in the woods. Like,
Yeah.
things just change and I want to be that person, but I just don't know if I can ever be that person that's going to do that. It's hard because too, I see like
Mhm.
everybody out there hustling. So I don't know if the right word is jealous. I'm so envious of people, when I see them really making both things happen.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's hard to see that. And then I just feel bad and I beat myself up and
Yeah. But you also have to think like you don't actually know what their life is like on the other side of it because they could be, like you said before, like it's a lot. Like I was spending a lot of time, and some people can be super chill about it, put out lots of stuff, and it's no big deal.
Mhm.
But I feel like I can probably say that we're both anxious people.
That's safe.
So So we can put a lot more on it and like it's just a little bit more stressful for us. And it's going to be that way. Everybody's got a different temperament and like I don't know, a different way to approach things. And I think for that part of my life when I was running the shop and making that content all the time, like that totally worked for me and it felt good to have a schedule and I could put it out and it was great, but especially now that I've kind of stopped doing things, I'm like what do I put on the internet?
Yeah.
I don't have to put anything on the internet. And then it's like, I can just live my life without thinking about the algorithm for a while. And there are people for a while, I absolutely had it figured out and I knew what to do on Instagram. But they change the rules so often now that it's like, I feel like nobody knows what to do. So just like, you do you.
Yeah. Yeah. I never
It's
figured it out, so I don't know.
It was good for the business, for sure, because that was, like, my main marketing, that and, like, email, duh, but yeah, it's hard out there now
You're
as with
really
all the
on it. I was like looking at you and I was like, damn. He's got it.
It was
Good for you.
but it was like 2 jobs though, because it was like I'm making my stuff and shipping my orders, and then also doing wholesale, and then also doing content creation, and I'm like
Creation is,
and I was making YouTube videos for a while, and I look back, I'm like, "How
I don't
where did that time come from? Who was that woman?"
know, man.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, I am curious about how you got into crochet and, like, how you learned.
So, yeah, I wish I had a cool story like my grandma taught me or something.
I know.
I honestly just taught myself. When I first moved here, I was working in a call center. It was the worst job ever. So new that there was tons of time in between calls. So some people were crocheting and knitting, and I was like, let me do that. So I got a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just sat there and taught myself. And then I got an amigurumi book, and then I learned how to do that. And then I started making stuff for people. And then it turned into me making stuff for First Thursdays. I don't even know if they still do that in Austin.
Yes.
Uh,
I forgot all about that.
yeah, so I would do that show every month. And then it turned into even more, and it just kind of grew like that. So it was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I taught myself too. I watched
Yeah.
YouTube videos and
Yeah, it's fun. I love it. I'll always crochet,
yeah.
but yeah, it doesn't have to be stressful like it was.
Yeah, there's no deadline or like
Yeah.
need for getting product out, but
Mhm.
are you making anything now for yourself?
Yeah, I actually, well, it's sad. I have a bunch of projects that I haven't finished.
Oh, Lord,
But
please. Yes.
yeah, I have a little basket sitting around the house. Like, what's this? It's mostly just tops and some dresses. But it's really hard to even finish them because my youngest is still 3, and
Mm.
she's wild. She'll rip stuff right out of my hands. And,
Oh my
the hooks and like scissors and those tiny little needles are super dangerous.
yeah.
She just runs around like a little maniac.
Oh my God.
I have to keep stuff away from her still.
Yeah,
And then I put it places and then I forget about it. And, then I'm like, oh,
for sure. Yeah,
what about you?
I have lots of projects that I have not finished. I haven't crocheted anything in a while though, but I have a quilt that I haven't finished yet, a little quilt top.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah, I've been quilting lately and it's been so fun.
Oh, I have seen you. Yeah, yeah. No, that looks
Yeah.
cool. I wish I could sew. I can just do basic stuff.
Oh my gosh, it's so basic. Like, I'm literally just sewing squares together. It is nothing. I was like, I need to start with the easiest thing possible because it had been years since I had sewn anything. And I still have not gotten away from just right angles. I'm not even on to triangles yet. Like,
I'm lucky if I
just
can thread my machine and
I thought about getting a new machine, but the one I've had it for like 20 years.
ooh,
And the idea of learning how to thread a new machine, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stick with this. It's still working. It's fine.
yeah, yeah. So hard.
So
Especially the older you get, why is it harder? Like,
I really am. I'm turning into that like crotchety old person. I'm like, I don't want to deal with something new. This is a new technology. I don't want to learn that.
yeah, for sure. I'm the same way.
I love that you're making clothes though. I've never crocheted any clothes and I really want to do like a cardigan.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm not good at it by any means, but like it's hard.
You hush. You are so everything you put up is absolutely gorgeous.
Gosh, I wish I felt that way. I'm just not. I can't wrap my brain around doing flat stuff, so it's really hard when I'm doing
Mm.
clothes. Because normally I work in the
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so it's a whole different thing. And I made a dress, like that Taylor Swift crochet dress.
Yeah, yeah.
Sleeves are so long. I'm like, what happened?
It's like
Well,
anytime I try to make a hat and it's just like small and tall, I'm like, what is this?
a teeny weeny beanie. Oh my
Oh
god.
my gosh. I didn't even think about that because it is very different. I've never done any amigurumi stuff. because my brain, I don't know, I feel like it would be really difficult, and I have so much respect because,
Oh,
like, we've got the little taxidermied Triceratops. That's
yeah.
yeah, it's in Emmett's room still. Always be in his
Gosh,
room. Yeah, that you gifted. It's just so beautiful, and his little jellyfish that was like his favorite thing when he was teeny bitty, and
I love
yeah.
making those. God, it feels like 15 years ago. I mean, I was just like a different person, and it was a different life.
It feels that way sometimes when you think back on it. Like sometimes I'll go through Instagram and just like see my old post and it's like, who was she?
Yeah, I feel that too.
But it's life. I mean, kids change absolutely everything. Like, your entire life changes. And yeah, we both made the decisions to move. And like I'm so glad that we did. Like it was definitely the best decision,
Yeah.
but it was absolutely nerve-wracking at the
I mean, you move far though, so yeah.
time.
I'm
I gotta
totally
move a little bit farther.
out there with you. I
Please do.
yes, I miss the weather. What's it like right now?
Right now it's overcast.
Oh, that
It's
sounds familiar.
45 degrees. It's chilly. It snowed the other day.
Oh, well,
It was pretty great. Yeah, the weather up here has been absolutely incredible. Like,
miss it.
yeah, the fall was beautiful. And I'm trying to peer pressure any of my friends who want to come move here. Like, please do.
Definitely want to move to Michigan at some point. I think that would be amazing.
It's beautiful here. And the creative scene is interesting here too. I didn't realize that they had the biggest like art show in the country.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like this big street fair. And it was huge. We were there for like 2 or 3 hours and didn't see everything. It like takes up the entirety of downtown. It's wild.
So cool.
Yeah. I feel like I need to find more of like the crafty scene here. What's the crafty scene like in Bastrop?
Mm,
Because it's so much smaller.
so different, I just don't, it's still kind of like grandma stuff. No, it's so confusing because it's changing now, but it's not
Mm.
changing like fast enough. There's some really cute hip stuff, and then there's still like the farmer's market that's like grandma's making homemade soap and lotions, and you know
Oh
what I
my
mean?
god.
And
I love it.
yeah, it's cute, but yeah, things are changing pretty fast now. Like it wasn't all there when I first moved, but now that, oh God, dare I say his name? But, moving all his stuff here,
Yeah.
it's really picking up speed and it's growing a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see how it changes. It's not all there yet, but
Yeah.
some cool, trendy, hip stuff.
It's fun.
Mhm.
That sounds like we went back to Wimberley this summer,
I
and
love
I
when,
hadn't been to downtown Wimberley in a little while. Like my grandmother lived out that way, and we would go there all the time when I was
oh,
little.
that's cool.
And yeah, it's like I kind of consider that more my hometown than
Yeah.
where I really grew up. But there's a lot of really cool, like hip places. Does it make me sound old? I'm like, it's really hip.
And
But yeah, there's like this kind of block of these really cool like new shop. Oh my god, there's a plant shop there that you would
oh
love.
man, I gotta go. I'm planning a girl trip soon, so I think
Yes.
that's where we're gonna end up.
Oh my gosh, they just opened. It's like they own like 3 stores in the same sub place, but it's this place called Ceremony is the plant store.
Okay.
And they have a new kind of like wellness shop next to it with like skincare things. And then there's a place called Shelter, which I made a reel about it. It's like
Okay.
mid-century, but also like kind of country,
Ooh.
western. I don't know. It was amazing. I wanted everything in that store.
Okay, I was gonna say, I know I'm gonna like it then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really great.
I love Kimberly.
My gosh, there's such great stuff down there. But there's a lot of antiques and there's a fair amount of like little grandma co-op
Hmm.
stores,
Yeah.
It's really cute. I feel like it's the same kind of vibe. But I feel like Bastrop is a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think it's getting bigger. I think they're annexing. I don't know what's happening. It feels bigger. A lot of people are moving out east, so maybe we'll get a Target someday.
ooh,
They
that would
want
be
to find
exciting.
Austin to do it.
Well, I'm glad that Bastrop is treating you well. How are the house projects coming? Because I learned very quickly that they go so much more slowly than you expect.
Yeah, I think I just realized we're going to always be working on something and fixing something. I'm looking at it right now. Half of our staircase is done. We've got wallpaper hanging off some of the, I mean, it's always
You
going to be
know.
this way, but I was listening to A Beautiful Mess. I know you love them too. And they're
Yes, love
like,
them.
take the pictures now, live in it now. It's always going to be chaos. And I think I'm really like trying to embrace that aspect of life. So, yeah, whatever it is, it is. And it's stressful, but also it's the kid's childhood too. So,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Well, I'm always so impressed when I see the stuff that you share because you guys take on like big projects. And I love your eye for design. I love how you've
oh,
been
thank you.
decorating and everything.
Thank you. I don't know what I'm doing. It's funny. I'm lucky that I have a husband that likes what I like too. And I think you do too, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
you just, whatever feels good. I don't know what vibe it is. It's not farmhouse, but it's not modern. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's very unique to you, I think. And I think it really fits your, I don't know, just like your general aesthetic and aura, you know? I feel like
Um,
it's always That's like it's very eclectic. I'm going for like mid-century cozy
yeah,
Animal Crossing house. Like,
everything cozy. I've got like the blankets and the pillow
yes. Yes, because like I love mid-century, but so much about it can be very minimal, and I'm just not a minimal person.
either. Yeah, I like
And it's
trinkets.
yes, I love a little tchotchke. I like a but oh my gosh, I feel like we bought the house and I was like, here are my ideas and here's what I'm gonna do and it's gonna be great. And I've like painted 4 doors and
They looked good though. I liked it. I loved it. I was like, yes, Peggy. The colors. Yeah.
yes, I thought it was really fun.
But your shelves too. Your shelves are done. And those
Oh yes, we did do the shelves and we did our little library downstairs.
yeah.
But I had to pivot so much. Like I originally wanted our little library downstairs. I don't think I really shared about that much, but I wanted to do built-ins because
Mhm.
I'm like obsessed. Anytime I see someone making a built-in on Instagram, YouTube, I'm like right there.
I know.
I want to do it. But we have those floorboard heaters.
That's right. You told me about that.
Oh my God. They're the bane of my existence. I'm like,
Yeah, that's
I
like
can't,
the houses, right?
yeah, it's 1966.
Mm-hmm.
Floorboard heaters. So I couldn't go all the way down with the thing. And I was like, I don't want to have to like, if I build around it, then you'd have to like deconstruct something if you have to get in there and fix it. So we did the same track shelving downstairs instead. I feel like there's so much pivoting. I'm like, okay. And then it's like, well, the house is just crooked everywhere. So how do we compensate for
Oh,
that?
yes, girl. Yeah. And it's so weird having an old house because you don't know certain things and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
you drop one thing on the ground and it rolls like to the corner.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You're seeing the things that you find out about later on and you're like, well, that's not going to work.
Yes. It's wild. All that we call her a quirky girl. She's our little quirky girl house. There are no right angles.
Mhm.
And then we kind of like dissect like what other people did throughout the years because it's had a few different owners.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this used to be a door here. How would you put that there? And then like, oh, this wall was extended. Why would you do that? And like,
Yeah, the secrets are
I
being
don't know.
revealed. Mhm.
Yes, most definitely. And then it's like,
I'm excited for you. I love it.
I just wish everything wasn't so expensive now.
Well, I know who would have thought, COVID and then price of just building everything. I mean, who would have known?
Yeah, the lumber costs alone is like, oh my God. I thought it would be cheaper if I built it myself.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And Matt wants to build everything himself because he doesn't want to pay
Yeah.
anybody to do it, which is fine. I totally get it.
Yeah. Well, he definitely has the capability, as an architect, he knows what he's doing. I get scared. I'm like, I don't want to knock out this wall. I don't want to like, what am I going to find? What am I going to wreck? I don't
Yeah, it's still scary the when he does it. So I'm like, ooh, plumbing's like, no, we need to. Yeah.
truly. We have a whole bathroom that I want to completely redo. And like, it's so much.
Me too.
It's just a never ending little do what you can.
I'm telling you, though, girl, like I'm never gonna do this again. This is it. Like if you move again, it's gonna be a new build or something that I can just visualize, maybe a paint change. Like I don't want to do it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. Well, I told Andy, even just after the stress of buying a house, and we only put in one bid, like this was the only house that we tried to buy.
Oh my
We were so, so lucky. But I told him like it was so stressful for me. Like I was a mess during that process. And I was like, I'm gonna die in this house.
yeah,
Like, this is it. I can't do this again.
I am with you on that because the stress of the house and then like what the it's a whole nother story. This is would be a whole nother episode. Did to in the house and to us, and then it ended up working out. But man, and then I didn't know I was pregnant during, so I was like
Yes.
hormones, and yeah, we're lucky
Yeah.
we got this place when we got it, and
Mhm.
you feel the same until you got that key. It's like wow.
Yes, and we were in Texas, so we hadn't even, like, seen it, like, we hadn't walked in the house before we
I didn't know that. That's wild.
Yeah, yeah, it all happened so fast, it felt like,
I guess so,
and
yeah.
yeah, and,
I bet you bought just in time though, right? Before everything went crazy.
yeah, and it worked out. Oh, Lord knows we couldn't have afforded anything in Austin, that was one of the reasons we left, and there was no way. And but the neighborhood was beautiful, and we had an amazing realtor. She was just like
That's what you need, man. You need somebody to work
yes.
for you.
Yeah, it was funny, I met her through Stacy, who had a client who was a realtor,
Oh, really?
who like knew the lady, so I'm like, Stacy, you got me my house.
That's awesome. I love how things work out.
Yeah, I did not know what to expect when we when we got this house.
Yeah. What's the? I'm interviewing you now. What's the first thing like that? Is it going
The
like with mom friends? Like, have you met people that you click with?
There's like one mom that I found. I was very lucky because it was like Emmett's first day of school, and she was out there, and I was just asking her questions about being, in the Midwest.
Yeah.
And she was so nice. And then it turns out, as we kind of got to know each other, she's like super into all the stuff that we're into. We vibe a lot, and Emmett and her daughter would play on the playground after school, and we just
Oh,
chat. So that's pretty cool.
good.
And I met a shop owner in downtown Dexter who's really cute. Dexter is like right outside of Ann Arbor.
Okay.
It's really cute, like small. You would love it. This like the small downtown community,
That's fun.
and there are lots of little shops. And I go in and talk to her sometimes, but it's weird. It's weird when you introduce yourself now to new people, like in a creative community, when you're like not doing it
I'm
for a living anymore. And it's like, oh, what do you do? And it's like,
nothing.
well, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but also, like, I had a completely different life, like, a year ago.
Yeah. It's hard because why is it so hard? Like I want some of that back, but then I don't. I don't know. I don't know.
I know.
What do we-
Yeah, that's why I was like, I'm gonna start this podcast so I can talk to the people that I like and not have to leave my house.
That's so great. I love it. I'm here for everything you do, Becky. Like,
You are the best, and I love you. The journey has been wild,
mhm.
but I saw you were doing some more crochet recently, where you're just kind of, like, dipping your toes back in and seeing how it felt.
So I thought for like a minute workshops could be a
Yeah.
thing. And are a thing kind of. It's just so hard here. Like I would probably
Yeah.
have to just drive back to Austin to do it. It's still like hit or miss. Like I had a few classes that were full and finding the right place to do it. And then I was like, should I do it in my house? But then my house is like under construction still. Just so confusing. And I was trying to make it happen. And I think if I tried harder and I was fully committed, it could happen. I just was like, half in. Oh, and then I got really happened. Yeah.
My
So
God.
it's just like, and then when you get really sick and your health is a thing, you just really evaluate what's more important to you. And I was like, I
Yeah.
want to make this happen, but it's not the first thing on my list anymore. I want to prioritize my physical health and my mental health and my family first. And then whatever
Mhm.
happens, next, if things work out, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in life right now. Like I'm more
Yeah.
into like I should meditate today instead of I should,
Yes.
clean today. So,
It's so important though, because if you can't take care of that, like, how are you gonna take care of anything else?
yeah, it was a real like eye-opening, shocking kind of thing too. I don't know how much I shared. I guess I shared,
Mm.
but I don't know. Am I allowed to share here? It's so weird.
I
I guess
If you want to,
we're all
yeah.
viewers for the most part. I had a hysterectomy. I had a cyst on my ovary, and I had to have surgery right away. And I didn't really have time to get a second opinion. It was kind of like I was in so much pain, and they could fit me in Wednesday, or else it would be like 2 weeks from
Oh my
then.
god.
So
Yeah.
I had to go like the next day and have surgery, and then there was complications, and I had to go back and have a corrective surgery, and
Mm.
it just kind of like spiraled. Um,
Yeah.
I wasn't able to. This is so much TMI for all the girls out there. Um,
Yeah.
I wasn't able to urinate on my own. Like that
Oh
was
my gosh.
hard. Like when that's taken away from you, you're like, well.
Yeah.
So for 2 weeks, I was walking around with a bully, not being
Mhm.
able to like pick up my kids or do anything, and
Yeah.
to really reevaluate life. So that was wild. I think I'm still
Yeah.
mentally like recovering from that
That's
surgery was nuts. Like some people have
Yeah.
it's okay. Like mine was not okay, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's so much to process. Just a hysterectomy in general is a lot for a woman to process, especially for someone who, like, has kids or has had issues with having kids and, like, because like, Emmett was a surprise for me
Yeah.
too, because it took us 2 years, and we had, like right before we got pregnant, we were like, "You know what? Because I didn't think I had the fortitude to go through, fertility treatments. I was like, "I really think that would not I don't think I'm strong enough for that."
Yeah.
And we just kinda let it we had just accepted, you know? I was like, "Okay." And then it was surprise.
That's so great.
But, like, hysterectomies, I feel like there's so much wrapped up in that mentally for a lot of women, not everybody, a
Yeah.
lot of people,
It's
and having to make that decision so quickly, like
it's wild, I mean, I really feel
yeah,
like the rug was pulled out from underneath me.
yeah,
And the way people talk about hysterectomies, like doctors are like, well, everybody does it, and they don't tell you like the long term effects of what could happen
mm,
on. Like it threw me into perimenopause like so fast, And
yeah,
not only was I recovering from this surgery with complications, I was like hit with hormonal stuff that I didn't even know what the hell was happening to me.
yeah,
Um,
and they don't tell us what
you really do
hormones are gonna do.
research and advocate for yourself. I finally found a gynecologist that I felt like listens to me, and
Yeah.
just heartbreaking, the stuff that they don't tell you. And then, they didn't even think to take any blood for to check my hormone. Like nobody asked me later on, like, hey, how's it going hormonally? And it wasn't
Oh my
going good. I had to come up
yeah.
and say, like, this is happening. And then it was like, no, no, that's not, happening to you. Like I had my doctors say that couldn't be, it was just
Oh my god.
nobody listened. So I had to switch. And yeah, it's been a journey. Like it's
Yeah.
a journey. I still don't know what's happening.
Well, I'm so glad that you have someone that listens to you now because
Yeah.
it's wild being a woman or like a femme presenting person in this world, especially when you're dealing with stuff on the reproductive side, because it's the Wild West.
It really
Yeah.
is. Like, nobody knows. I mean, like 100 years ago, we weren't dealing with this, right? We weren't even
Yeah.
living long enough that we would be in
Yeah.
menopause or menopause. I have Matt that supports me, and we're all just learning. Doctors are still learning. Like, it's wild.
Yeah, I can't believe how much new research is happening just on menopause and perimenopause. And I'm glad that people are talking about it because I feel like so much was like taboo just, 10, 20 years ago. Like, you can't talk about your hormones, hormone replacement therapy. What do you mean? It's like, I literally feel like I'm going crazy. Yes, it's my hormones.
Yeah, every day I'm like, oh, what's today? I don't know.
And it's so hard to think of anything beyond like what your basic priorities are when you're not feeling well. Like
It's
your own mental and physical wellness is so important if you want to be A, function,
yeah, yeah.
and B, have anything on top of that. Like creativity doesn't exist if you're laid up in the bed and then you got to make your kid lunch and
I know. Kids, yeah, you have to get up and be a mom.
so you're having to deal with it.
Yeah, you just gotta take one day at a time. And
That's the thing. Yeah, like I've been having my own like weird intense nausea once a month
oh,
for like
it's fun.
2 years. The worst. Tremors, all this kind of stuff.
Tremors.
And it's
Yeah.
yeah, and it's taken this long for my doctors. It was for me coming in being like, "I think this is hormonal because it happens literally at the same time." And they're like, I guess so. Let's try this." And it's like the quality of life is just pew.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, it's rough. And then you're like, "Hey, now I can like I'm just ready to get through the day."
Hmm.
And then I can think about being creative. I feel like my creativity has like taken a very different turn, you know? It's not like drawing all the time. Like I do not have time. I don't do that much anymore, but it has to manifest itself in different ways or else I'm just going to spiral.
Yeah, I feel you. Even if it's being creative with like the kids or just doing something,
Mm,
to,
yes.
yeah.
What kind of stuff do you do with your kids to
Oh gosh. Well, it's hard kind of because they want to do something and get all this stuff out, and then I feel like they give it maybe 10 minutes and then they're like, let's do something else. So I'm like, well,
Yes. Yes.
it's been pretty cool. Like lately we've been doing a lot of snowflakes.
Oh, fun.
But they're just into like it'll change. They're really into drawing flip books right now.
Oh,
Mm. Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah, so Arlo's into flip books and now Birdie's into flip books because whatever he's doing, she wants to do.
Yeah.
And her drawings are like whacked out and crazy.
Oh,
I
amazing.
love it. Um,
She seems like such a trip.
he is, and they're like night and day. He's just so like reserved and sweet and quiet, and she's just bouncing off the walls. So
I
um,
love it.
it's fun. It's hard, but it's fun. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like every stage is hard, but it's a different hard thing, and there's also a different fun thing that, like, comes along with it,
yeah,
and I just have the one.
yeah. One's hard, two's bananas.
I'm always in awe when I see people with multiple kids, just getting it done. I wanna pick your brain, like, how are you doing it?
I don't. Yeah.
I saw a meme the other day where it was, like, having multiple kids, and it was like having a couple of dinosaurs running around, and then it was like having 1 kid, and it was just this one fierce, terrible, Tyrannosaurus just, like, rampaging. I was like, "That's it."
Aw. Yeah. How's he doing? Is he just loving
He's
it?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a transition for sure. It was hard because he had to do he's done 2 different schools
Oh,
at this
really?
point.
Okay.
Yeah, from, like, 2nd grade and then into 3rd grade, and I think that next, like, other school this year was kind of difficult to kind of get it going,
You're great.
but
Crazy.
he's Yeah, it's a lot of transition for a little guy, and, I try to be that's why I wanted to that was really the main reason I wanted to stop doing my job,
Mhm.
um, just because it's such a huge moving was such a huge transition for him. But yeah, he's doing much better now. He loves being outside, and we've got a yard outside, and he can just go play.
That's great.
And we've got a couple of friends, and our neighborhood is so nice. Like we
Mhm.
can just walk down to a little creek, and there's this big old hill that he can run down, and deer everywhere. I almost hit a deer on the way to school today. Terrifying. Like it's we're not like in the woods, but we're like kind of in the woods.
Yeah. But that's so good
But
for him, and that's great that,
yeah,
you're taking a step, you know, even if it's hard and you feel like you're not doing enough, like you're doing
yeah.
great.
Thank you, friend.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but
It's hard being a
we can. Yeah.
mom.
And I'm like, I'm not trying to scare anyone who's like, "Do I wanna have kids?"
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. It's so funny to see him, like, because he has such a little personality now, like, he's just a little boy now, Like, he's not like a little toddler, he's just a kid, and you can just have a full-on conversation with him, and he has
I love it. Good conversation.
Yeah. It's so funny. He's a trip.
It's good.
We love to read. We go to the library a lot. That's a really fun
That's
thing we have up here.
a good.
Because we would do that we went to the Round Rock Library a lot
Mhm.
when we were in Texas still. And so we go to downtown Round Rock, and then there's like a little ice cream shop and candy store down there too. So we'd go do that after we got our books.
That's like
Yeah, that
making
was
memories right there.
yeah, that's what we're trying to. Now
Those
it's
memories.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's hard because he does the same thing when I try to do like pull out projects and stuff. Because it's almost like if it's not his idea, he's like, I don't know,
Yeah.
sure. So I've either got to like start working on something, and then he's like, "What are you doing?" Um, like,
Technology.
yeah, trick him into it. But he's just happy to read up in his room all day. So
That's great.
yeah. That's fun. We do have to limit screen time. That's always been a challenge, but
Yeah. That's another. We
we're
took away the iPads completely, so it's
mhm.
really some days.
Yeah.
I do let him watch TV. I don't let him play Minecraft, even though he
Don't
wants to. No, he's
don't do it.
like so obsessed with it. He can watch
Yeah.
a little bit of it on TV, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Emmett had a huge phase
you know,
about that time, and it was driving me crazy because there's just so much. It's like, well, I want to do this because I saw someone do that. And then it's like, well, I need this mod, and this mod costs this much money. And I saw this mod and it was kind of scary, and now I'm having nightmares. And I'm like, okay. Like we had to
yeah, the night
put the kibosh.
you run your own, so I have to get up every time. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a lot.
I never thought.
But he's really into Mario now, like all things Mario, and I'm like, cool. Nintendo is always kid friendly, good to go. Like,
Great. Okay.
yeah, and we'll have what is it? We had a Mario Kart tournament the other day, all three of us, and it was really fun. We don't hold back when we play Mario Kart. I'm like, sorry, dude, you got to learn.
Sink or swim, kid.
Exactly. But he talks so much smack before, it's so funny. Like, he will just smack talk, and then we're like, "Watch this." Mm.
So funny when Arlo roasts Matt. Like I'm like, wow, kid. You there. Oh my
Oh my god, it's so funny. Oh, I love it. The kids are wild,
gosh.
and you're doing such a great job. Oh my
You
gosh,
too.
your 2 little ones.
Both.
I love yeah, we just do our best, and
That's all
the
you can
best we can
do.
do. Yeah. My gosh.
Girl, this
Well,
is fun. I'm glad we did this.
Me too. Do you have anything else you're working on or anything else you wanted to talk about?
I mean, my brain's pretty fried most days. Yeah, I can't think of.
We didn't talk about your books.
Oh,
You wrote fully like books.
just one, and I wish I had written two. Nobody will publish me.
I thought you were in the process of another book, though, aren't you?
I did try, and I
Mhm.
found out right away. It was like that thing you're talking about. If you're not posting every day, if you don't have
Yeah,
like hundreds of followers, it's really rough out there. Nobody wants to publish you. So,
it's wild.
and I just don't know. I just don't think I want to live like that. So, if that's what
Yeah,
it is for me to have to publish another book, I just don't know if it's in the cards for me. But I did try.
yeah,
I had a really amazing go, and I had a lot of people come back and say, like, wow, you have a great idea. And then unfortunately, this and that is so,
yeah. That is such a shame because,
it really
like,
is.
follower count does not equal quality book. Like,
I know.
it just doesn't.
It was very disheartening, but I was like, okay, that's how the world is.
Yeah,
I'm not on TikTok. I'm on Instagram, and very rarely do I post
yeah,
anymore. So it is what it is. I would love to publish
yeah,
again. Hey, anybody, if you're a little book company,
yeah.
I've got some great ideas that,
I think it's ridiculous because there are writers too that I hear it's so hard just to publish a novel too, and a lot of people go the independent route,
yeah,
and the independent route is so much work, especially if it's just one person
yeah,
doing it, like, that's bonkers.
yeah,
That's a lot of work.
pretty bitter about it. And then I was just, I had a great experience with my first one, and
Mm,
that was such an amazing thing, and it all happened organically. Like, I was so
yeah,
lucky, and I didn't know it at the time. How lucky it was for it to fall that way. Into my lap.
mhm.
You know, so I was very blessed, and it was so
It's
cool.
so cool. You're a
Maybe
published
someday
author.
in the future,
Yeah,
or I'll publish my own book. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. What does Emma say from in Beautiful Mess? She says life is long, you know? And I feel like, we're in our 40s, but there's still time, you know?
Still time.
There's
And
there's still time.
yeah, like she does say, like, this season is hard, but who knows?
Yeah,
And I really fully
yeah,
believe that. So
yeah. Me too. I mean, who knew I would have a podcast?
I
Like,
know.
like
I'm excited.
never crossed my mind. Like, so you never know what's gonna come.
No. I'm so excited for you. And yeah, who knows
Thank
what will
you.
come.
Yeah, who knows? Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Girl, I'm here for
Um,
you. I love it. Thank you for asking me. Thank you for making
yeah.
me a little bit relevant again.
Oh my gosh. Please. Yeah, you were one of the most creative people that I know, and your work is absolutely beautiful. Everyone should follow you anyway. Don't expect a lot of posts, okay? Like, and that's fine. I'm here for the slow posting,
Yeah,
the slow crafts, like we're
slow it down.
we're slowing it down and that's good. But
Living the slow life.
yes, yes. Oh, give me it. Give me it. All right. Well, thank you, lady. I appreciate it.
It's always great.
All right. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope you enjoyed our chat. Be sure to check out links to all of Taylor's stuff below, her Instagram. She's been sharing lots of the really cool clothes that she's been making. And if you listened to my 2025 goals podcast, that I really want to make some kind of piece of clothing via crochet. And she's such an inspiration right now. Like, oh, I want to do it. And all her stuff is so cute. But yeah, be sure to check her out there. Be sure to check out her book. That is amazing. And yes, a huge thank you to Taylor for taking the time to chat. And a thank you to you for even sticking around and listening. I'm still blown away that folks are here and listening. You're the best. And obviously, I still don't know how to end these. Be sure to check me out on my website, on Instagram. I'm trying to be a little bit more active on Substack, maybe Blue Sky. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. We're trying to have a slow life here. All right. That was the whole point of this conversation. I'm not trying to post all the time, but also I miss posting and chatting with people. I don't know. Maybe I'll make a podcast about that. I'm rambling. I love you. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.